Hey guys, how you doing? I thought I'd do another quick little video of just the collection really, today of the studio scale Slave 1. This one's about to get crated up and boxed out and sent to one of my customers in the States. So before I do that, I thought I'd quickly do a video about it. It's always been in the background when I've done videos and stuff, so people have asked about it, so I thought I'd just give sort of a rundown of the Slave 1. So we'll have a look. Okay, so this is the Nyson studio scale Slave 1. It came as a resin kit with the halogen bulbs, as you can see in the back, but it doesn't come with any sort of armature apart from the alley wing bar that runs across the whole middle of the ship, which supports the wings. I actually had to get that cut in half at a machinist's and a central rod put in the middle of the two wing armatures so I could adjust the wings left and right when I was building it to make sure that it sat in the correct position. The wings are static on this, they don't move. I decided to just keep it in that position because that's the way I liked it, and plus it was horrible trying to get the pistons opening and closing on the wings. But nearly everything that you see on it did come in the Nyson kit. There was a few kits I did have to buy. I think it was the 88mm flat gun and a few ship kits for the wing arches. There was a few, I think Shinano maybe, I can't, off my head I can't remember, but I had to purchase those simply because I don't think they were even ID'd at the time. But the majority of the kit was there, even the FET inside, and I don't know if you can quite see that. I'll zoom in. There you go. That's him in the cockpit. But this was painted with the Archive X enamels at the time because the acrylics weren't around, although I have painted a studio scale Slave 1 in acrylics, which was lovely, really nice to use. But with these enamels at the time, it was so exciting because, well, I don't think anyone had painted a Slave 1 in these paints at the time in the correct hues, and it was wonderful doing the detective work on, you know, what was the right colour to use, the base coat, all that sort of thing. And it really messes with your mind, the whole model itself. I mean, the Slave 1, if you see it in person at the tours, it appears as grey. It's like a grey green. But obviously you've got the reds all over it, and the wings. The wings are actually base coated in yellow first, so that's armour yellow underneath that you can see there. Then you would spray reefer white over that, and it has this creamy white grey sort of lovely look to it. It's just unravelling the paint process. It's a really tricky thing to do, but Guy Cowen helped me no end with it. He really just, we were on the phone for hours talking about it, and we got there. I don't think it's perfect yet. I mean, Guy agrees. I don't think we've got that green nailed yet. It's going to be a while until we see a perfect one, but it's not far off. It's really interesting actually, because you've got the primer like grey even up here showing through, and then you've got the grime, and then you've got I think this was Weyerhaeuser, the green, or Weyerhaeuser mixed with grime, and then this was GN grey green, I think, from memory, and it all just gets muted down with that grime misting and creates that lovely look to the Slave 1. Of course, there's tons of splattering and that sort of thing with the maskell, which literally in that case was flicked off a toothbrush, and then you have that really satisfying reveal at the end when you're just rubbing away at it, trying to reveal the chipping, you know, when you're removing the mask. And again, the wing wells was so lovely to do because that's, I think that was Boxcar. No, that was, oh, I can't remember now. I think there's all sorts going on in there. The yellow was
mud or something. I just can't remember. I'd have to go back through my notes, but you can easily forget. You do have to remind yourself, going back at your old work in progress pictures to find out what it was. The skirt was grime. The pink that Archive X did, I can't remember the local name for that, I can't remember. And then there was the boxcar red over it. Again, all completely misted back down with the grime to give it that muted, minty sort of look to the green. But yeah, it was just an absolute adventure. It was crazy fun. It was really, really good. Really enjoyed it. And I've got this in a position now where it's in that sort of flight mode, but I do have the option to take that mount off and put just a normal, if I find it, normal mount in place. So it just has it appear in the landed position. And also the guns and a few other pieces were taken off. This goes in the middle at the back, so the rod just tightens up like that and butts it up to the model. And then you've got the wings as well, which they just slide in. So that's the Nyson Slave One, and I'll move over now to Guy Cowen's Slave One, which I'm scratch building. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention is it does have the lights installed. There's a 9-volt battery pack that goes up inside the tail that you can just pull out and switch on when you want the lights to be illuminated. Okay, so here we have Guy Cowen's Slave One next to the Nyson. Completely different beast. This is so accurate to the original model as far as the way it's built. The Nyson model is aesthetically beautiful. It looks like the Slave One when painted well, but when you start handling it and feeling it, it's night and day different to how the original was made, and that's the way and the route that Guy has gone down to design his. So on the bottom, you've got the complete armature here, which has a mounting point here, a mounting point on the end of the wings in their thread, and the engine bells are far longer than the Nyson one, and the whole design is just incredible, really. It's almost like it's you know, like a droid or something, the way it's been designed. But I think Felix Bayer designed, well, not designed, but did the metal work for Guy, although Guy designed it. So that now has given me a base to work on for scratching my own studio scale one. Unfortunately, I thought I'd have the Nyson one for longer to help me with the ref, but because it's sold, I need to move it on now to the customer and get back onto the scratch built Slave One. I've been collecting all the kit parts, the original vintage donor kit parts, which has been a task in itself and a very expensive journey, but I'll get all those out in a second and show you how the bottom is made up from those kit parts. Okay, so this shows the absolute insanity and craziness of the bottom of the Slave One, which we all know and love. This is just a selection of the kit parts that make up the bottom of the Slave One. This has taken so long to collect all these parts, and the people that have given me the IDs I appreciate so much, Guy and Lee, Ralph and the rest of the crew that have helped. This is the die-hard way to build a Slave One. This is just an absolute minefield of parts laid on parts laid on parts. There's no sort of structure to it. It's just a case of finding out what lays on what. It was very helpful with the Nyson one. That's the
well, I've done 2 of them now, so this is be the 3rd studio scale slave one. But this now doing it with original kit parts is even more daunting because I can't screw up a resin piece, which I could just get another resin part of, or I could buy another kit for. This is now down to doing it perfectly. Now, Guy did a run of these, and I'm so thankful that Guy let us, you know, even have this and share this with a small proportion of the community that jumped on board when he did do the run of the slave ones. But he included not only the vac-formed body, armature, and vac-formed dish. He also included the super rare Porsche Entex parts. Now, to get one of those kits, you're looking at close to about £1,000 now on eBay, which is just ridiculous. It takes all the fun out of the hobby that these model kits are getting this expensive to try and get a true, accurate, original ILM model. But also, what other little parts I love is the bits like from this plane. That's that section there on the slave one. I would have browsed past that, looking at the sprue parts on studio scale modelers and that sort of thing. It's you know, been cut down obviously, so that creates that part. Then you've got the hood of the Ferrari, which sits, I don't know, there or something. These are just sort of an exploded view of the bottom of the slave one. And then the other thing, which is just ridiculous, is the cockpit. I never realised how much detail went into the underside and the top and the back of the cockpit, which is just not seen. I'll readjust the camera so I can get some better shots of the cockpit. So with the cockpit, you start off with like a long odd shape like that. That's the only ID that I found. The Morse Carl, I'll share it with you. There you go. I think it might have been the flak. Oh, I don't know. Send me a PM if you want to know my one little ID that I made. Anyway, that is the lower cockpit. I chose Kentworth seats then, but I don't think they're correct. I think they're scratch. But for the purpose of me setting up that cockpit, that's what I chose. That then sits in the back. And then you have that roof part which goes underneath that. And I still don't know if this is the right dimensions, but it kind of works. Then that would, that goes on like that, the top seat where Boba sits. And then finally, that top section would slide on like that. So and then you'd have that curved part at the front of the cockpit. But it's none of this, absolutely none of this could have been done without the help of the guys in the Slave One groups that have helped me no end. This is stolen information, as simple as that. I did not have these IDs. So thank you to those guys that helped me. Thank you to Guy Cowen and the rest. These are just a huge opportunity to get myself building one of these from scratch. But there you go, that's the cockpit. Now, Guy didn't have a resin body, or there's no sort of resin in the shape of the ship at all. This kind of alien head, if you like, made up the top of the Slave One, and Guy's very carefully, I don't just see the curvature of the imprint of the plastic. That shows where to put the wing wells. Again, these came all vac formed like this. I think Guy got these vac formed at RS, so it's brilliant quality. This is a cutout which appears on the nose of the Slave One, which not many people have noted, that it's actually a completely removable part from the nose of the Slave One. I think I'll just be able to move the camera up and I'll show you. sorry about that, just on the fly adjustments. So this nose part would be on the front, this part here, I believe. And then there's a whole shroud that goes over the top of the slave and finishes there. Nice, and make just a panel line that goes over. It might actually be there, actually, I can't remember, but this is the part for that. So you'd have to cut out the whole shape and place that over the top of this, so it goes over. I know it's as clear as mud, me explaining it, but hopefully in the next few weeks when I start cutting these up again and getting this all ready to be worked on, it'll be, you know, more of a, it'll make more sense. And then lastly, the wings are just stuff of nightmares. These were drawn up in hell by Lorne Peterson. So, and all these Brabham F1 parts I had to buy. I mean, the other thing is you'll buy kits and then they'll come like this and they've been hand painted by someone. So you'll buy an eBay kit thinking, yes, I got it at a good price. It'll turn up caked in enamel paint, which it looks like that's going to be a fun job to remove. So I might have to scrap that one and buy another Brabham. But there you go, that's my video on Studio Scale Slave 1. So I'm sorry that this girl is having to go to its new home, but the new owner will look after it, I'm sure, and appreciate it as much as I have. So thank you for watching, guys. Cheers.